Hey everyone, and welcome back to how to create animated gradient backgrounds in After Effects. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to use our color schemes in our After Effects project. So in After Effects, let's start by creating a new composition by going to the top of the menu here, and then clicking on Composition and New Composition. And in the composition settings window, let's change the name up here to main comp. And then we want to make sure that the dimensions here are set to 1920 by 1080 pixels. And we want the frame rate at 30 FPS. And then we want to set the time duration to 10 seconds. So let's go ahead and do that. Cool. Then once you're happy with your initial settings, click on the OK button to create our main composition. Excellent. Now we want to create a composition to store our gradient design. So again, let's go to the top menu here, select Composition, New Composition, and let's rename this one Gradient Design. And from here, we want to make sure that all the settings are exactly the same as our previous comp, and then click OK to create that. Cool. So now you can see at the bottom here, we've got two compositions, one which is named main comp and one which is named gradient design. And if we click on our project panel here, you can see them over here as well. Excellent. Now let's go ahead and import our color scheme into the project. Now this should have been saved as an image file. So all we need to do is click and drag that into our comp. So let's click and drag this into our comp like so. Excellent. Alternatively, let's go ahead and delete this. Another way that we can import our color scheme is by going to File, Import, File, find where your color scheme is located on your hard drive, select it, and then click Import. And here you can see it in our project files. All we have to do is click and drag it from here into our comp, like so. Cool. Let's go ahead and use the selection tool at the top here. So make sure that the selection tool is selected, or by pressing V on the keyboard. And we want to go ahead and resize this here to make it a little bit smaller. So let's click on these little squares here. Click and drag using your mouse to make it smaller, like so. And then just moving it to the top right corner here, where we can use it as a reference. Awesome. Now to start creating the shapes that will use our color scheme. To do this, go to the top menu bar again, and we want to select the ellipse tool. Now if the ellipse tool isn't showing at the top here, so it's at the moment this shape is a square, we want to click and hold the left mouse button where the shape is, and then select the ellipse tool from the menu, like so. Awesome. Now make sure that we haven't got any layers selected in our comp at the bottom here, otherwise we'll start making masks like this. So you'll see we've made a mask here. So I'm just going to press Ctrl Z to undo that. Make sure that our color scheme JPEG is unselected. And now using our ellipse tool, let's go ahead and create a circle shape here. Now if you want to create a perfect circle, just click and press and hold the Shift key on the keyboard, and then you'll see all the proportions are constrained like this to make a perfect circle. Awesome. Now the shape might have some default color settings that we want to change. To do this, go to the top menu bar here and click on the fill square. From here we want to select the eyedropper tool here, and then using our mouse we can move over to our color scheme at the top here, and you can see straight away how every time we hover over one of the colors, the color of our circle is also changing. So let's go ahead and select the yellow here and then click OK to confirm that. And we also want to make sure that we don't have any stroke colors selected here as well. So click on the stroke option. So click on the word stroke up here. And we want to make sure that no stroke is selected. So none, and then click OK. Awesome. Now another way that we can change the color of our shape is going into our effects and presets panel over on the right here. And we want to type in fill and then find the fill option here, select it, and then make sure our shape layer is selected, and then double click on that to apply a fill onto our shape. Awesome. And then over to the left here, you'll see that we have an eyedropper tool next to our color option here as well. So we can easily just click on the eyedropper tool, and then exactly the same way as what we did before, just select the color from our color scheme to change the color of our shape. Now setting up our shape like this might be a little bit easier in this case, as we might want to change the color of our shape, and we want to have the options to do that easily without having to keep opening up a new window to change the color. Awesome. Now let's create a drop shadow by typing into our effects and presets search bar here, drop shadow, and then double click on drop shadow to apply it onto our shape. And you can see over in the effects controls panel that we can also change the shadow color of our shadow here using the eyedropper tool. So let's use this eyedropper tool here and select a shadow for our shape here like so, and we can't see it here, so let's increase the distance like that. So about 100 should be fine. And we can also play about with the direction of our shadow as well. It's just placing it here. And now once we've created a shape, we can now go ahead and select our shape layer and then press Ctrl and D to duplicate it. So we want to use our direct selection tool here and move the duplicates around, and then just moving it around randomly. At this stage, we're not worrying too much about the placement of some of these shapes, as we just want to randomly place them around and then create different sizes of them, like so. So just using the direct selection tool to make this one smaller, and then we want to bring the distance back in here, like so, and then press Ctrl D for this layer. In fact, press Ctrl Z as we were in this effects control panel. We want to duplicate the shape here, so make sure that you're in your comp panel here, press Ctrl D to duplicate it, and then placing another shape here like so. Now you'll notice how the middle of our shape is all the way over here, so we want to change that by clicking on pan behind anchor point like so, and then we want to move our point here into the middle of our shape, and this should make it so that it's easier to resize our shape like that. And we can do the same for our other shapes. Let's go ahead and move that into the middle, and the same for this one. Let's move that into the middle here. And now from now on, any shape that we duplicate should have its anchor point in the middle, like so. Cool. So let's make this one a little bit bigger, like that. And then just overlapping some of these shapes create a interesting composition. And now we can go ahead and change the color of some of these. So just selecting the color of these shapes using the eyedropper tool. And then here we can easily select the colors that we want. So let's go ahead and do the same over here. Selecting another color. And then we want to select another color for the shadow. And in fact, we can even adjust our color scheme a little bit by making this one a little bit darker, and then doing the same with this one. So let's select this color and then making this one a little bit brighter, like so. Awesome. Now we will eventually be using these to control the color and composition of our animation. But the most important thing at this stage is just creating the shapes and using the colors. Excellent. Now that we've learned how to create shapes and use the color scheme, in the next video we'll learn how to adjust our shapes to create the gradient effect. See you all there.